Hello, interwebs. I am Sebastian from InvestComics.com, here in the back of Famous Faces and Funnies, and this is another solo episode of FFFIC, because apparently Free Comic Book Day involves a lot of setup, and my boy Sean is busy doing a lot of setting up, and since we're doing Free Comic Book May here at Famous Faces, so every Saturday gets to be a Free Comic Book Day. I don't know if I will see Sean until Pay for Your Comics Like a Regular Bastard June, which is not really a big celebration, but is just kind of a coming down. Alright, so, got this big old stack. Let's jump in, shall we? Batwing, number 20. Okay, the second issue of the new Batwing, Luke Fox. Written by, of course, Palmiotti and Gray. So freaking amazing. I like Batwing. I liked the original Batwing. I was on board from issue number 1. Batwing was one of the few books I was excited for in the new 52. And I don't even have a solid reason why. I just was. Revamp? So freaking good. Oh my god. What was his name? Lionmane? Lord Lionmane is this bad guy at the end. Even in the beginning, he fights like an army of cyber army ants, but they're actually the Marabunta, which are these serious ants. You can watch whole nature shows on them, all right? And they're these guys in these like ant armor, and this woman in like this queen ant armor. And it's so good. Story-wise, this was amazing. This issue filled in a lot. There was a lot of storytelling. However, the way it was set up and the way it was framed, it's still all out, balls to the wall action, totally incredible. Loved it. Loved every second of it. The Movement, number 1. Gail Simone is awesome. That's almost my entire review. Gail Simone is awesome. This, I wasn't sure what to make of it from the preview that they did the other day. They reviewed they gave us a couple of pages, and I was like, looks okay. I have faith in Gail. I'd already ordered it. Want to see what's going on. In context, though, those 3 pages suddenly become much more brilliant. I'm already in love with these characters. I think I have a new favorite character in the DC universe, and her name is Virtue. I already liked Catharsis, who Gail introduced in the Nightfall story of Batgirl that I really liked. This was so good, so amazingly good. It's one issue, and it's bam! It introduces all the characters. It lets you know who the players are, what they're doing. Introduces you to their city, the way the crime works. The tweens, which is the streets in between 10th Street and 20th Street. It's just so freaking amazing. And you've got Mouse, the Prince of Rats. This book is just incredible, and you really need to read it. And here, I'll plug myself on the Invest Comics page. Go to Invest Comics. You can find an interview I did at MegaCon with Gail Simone, where we talked about this a little bit. We talked about a lot of stuff that she's doing. But this book is so good, so good. Hypernaturals, number 11. I tell you all the time, Hypernaturals is freaking amazing. This is like the best Legion of Superheroes story without the Legion ever done, and it's Amnet Landing doing Cosmic. So really, what else do you need to know? Nothing. The artwork is gorgeous. It's Tom Derenick, Tom Derenick and Andre Guinaldo. So amazing. See, I didn't say good. This story really ramps it up with what's going on with are there or aren't there aliens, and how is it affecting the Quantinuum. Oh my God, this book. Just read it. Go get the get the trade, get the issues, get it, read it, love it. Red 10, number 3 from Comics Tribe. All right, it's good. It's what do you call it? Agatha Christie's 10 Little Indians with superheroes trapped on an island. Who's killing them? Who done it? Locked room, locked island kind of murder. Really good. I ordered it because it sounded interesting, and I was not disappointed, but also it was a little better than I dared to hope, which is, as indie comics go, this is pretty good, especially indie heroes. And by indie, I mean like not like Image or whatever. I mean like those indie. somebody had this printed kind of indie. This is good. Ongoing, the victories. Michael Avon Oming, you love him on everything he does. You're all big Powers fans. Read this, and it's just awesome. Is the way to describe it. He picks up where the miniseries left off, but if you haven't read the miniseries, you don't need anything to know this. You're going to get introduced to the team. You're going to get introduced to the former hero turned bad guy turned possible hero with his own weirdness going on. Well, not hero, but turned more televangelist with his own agenda, and it's good. You get what the heck's her name? Dee something. Let's go back to the little beginning here. Character. Most of this story is told through the point of view of the former hero, formerly known as the Strike, and through Dee Mao, who has the coolest power concept. She just builds with energy. She's always hungry. What she eats, she builds with energy, but she needs to use that energy. It gives her super strength. It makes her hard to kill. It means if she uses too much of it, she gets all brittle and can die. But if she doesn't use it, like every night, she wakes up and she's, she's bigger than I am. She's like 250 pounds, and she then has to, it takes her an hour at super speed to run and burn it all off. But it's this constant, just the energy builds inside her and just becomes mass until she uses it for something. So she's constantly on the go. And it was just a really cool concept and really, really well done. Suicide Risk. Number 1 from Boom is Mike Carey and Elena Casagrande. I didn't even remember ordering this. So when I pulled it out and Sean was like, I was like, what is this? He's like, you ordered it. Which really wasn't an answer to my question, but worked for his needs. So I was like, what is it? He goes, I don't know. I'm like, well, you work in a comic store, shouldn't you know these things? He's like, well, I read it. It wasn't that great. In fact, I think it's crap. You'll probably love it. And he was right. And if you've watched the show before, you know that makes sense. If Sean really doesn't like it, I will probably love it, and potentially vice versa. I like this. It's a cop in a world where people can just buy superpowers, and most of the people who buy superpowers, no matter how noble their intents, tend to go to the dark side. And a whole lot of people get killed in the beginning, and this is a cop with survivor's guilt who then goes and tries to broker some powers for himself to get revenge for all the civilians and fellow cops that died in the big raid in the beginning. And that's pretty much where it leaves off for next issue. So, and there's an ad for 6-Gun Gorilla, which I ordered because it's called 6-Gun Gorilla. And what else do you need? Oh, and Dayman, which I ordered too. I'm just all into Boom apparently. But apparently I'm doing ads for them now. Dayman, vampires who find a way to, and the people who work around them in the daylight. Oh, very nice. But Suicide Risk was really, really good. I can't wait to see where they go with this, and it's just, it's a gritty, real-world approach to heroes, which we've seen, but it's very solid. So, give it in. Game of Thrones number 14 from Dynamite continues to be a really good adaptation of the book. You've seen the show, you've read the book, you know you like it. I like this artwork. I really can't describe it any better than to say it's I don't know. It's very distinct, and I can't. There's no one else I can specifically compare it to, but it really works within this book, and that's one of the things that has brought me back to this every time, because between having read some of the books, having watched the show, and my wife's complete obsession with the show, the plots, the plot lines, possible plot lines, I'm pretty Game of Thrones out, but that's still pretty good. Miss Fury number 2 is okay. I like it. It's not my favorite. It's not my least. It's kind of time travel-y, and it alternates in art styles, but I like it for what it is, and Boom does some pretty cool stuff with their public domain characters. Black Bat, I'm going to need a couple more issues for it to really impress me. I was talking yesterday to Sean and Jared about this. It was okay, but it didn't do anything spectacular that grabbed me. The main thing that stayed with me upon reading it was the fact that on page 1, he says, I used to love this city, blah, 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 blah. Truth is, it lost its way years ago, and I don't think it can find its way back. All the way to page 5. I know you're asking yourself, if the city is such a lost cause, why am I doing this? Because no matter how bad things get, I have to believe there's always a chance we can find our way back. That same way that he just said he really doesn't think it can find. So that just stayed with me, that inconsistency. But art-wise, it's okay. Story-wise, it's okay. And I'm hoping that it gets better than okay with number 2, 3, and so on. Spider number 11 is beyond okay. I like the Spider. This is so good. So many things happen. He is found out. It turns out the 2 main bad guys that he's after, the Fly. Yeah, the Fly's getting the advantage over the Spider. It's bound to happen. But yeah, so the Spider versus the Fly and the Lawgiver. The identity of the Lawgiver is found. Lawgiver is a guy who's taken out all cops left and right because he feels all the cops are corrupt. We find out who the Lawgiver is, and I won't exactly say it wasn't something you didn't see coming, but it was still kind of a damn, moment when it happened. And they're working together, and the Spider is in all sorts of trouble by the end of this issue. Dial Age is awesome. It continues to be awesome. It has always been awesome. It is awesome. You need to read this. A handful of characters return as we find out that there's a group that they're the Dial Bearers, and they show up, and I can't put this into words. You have to read this, and this is one of those books that you're either going to love or you're not going to get. It's not a book that you're going to be like, it's okay, I'll give it. It's either, wow, this is just amazing, or I don't get it. There's not a lot of room in between, and that's it. Shadowman Number 0 from Valiant, continuing to do no wrong. I've said it every time I've reviewed a Valiant book. I will say it every time I do a Valiant book, until they do something wrong, at which point I will clutch my chest and fall on the floor, dead of a heart attack. This is the origin of Master Dark, and it's also the origin of Master Dark's sister, who I'm hoping we'll see more of throughout the series. But what an origin! This was just, and it's good. It's just good. Just read that. Hawkeye continues to be good, but really weird. It is a story that apparently it goes back and then catches up to where we left off with last issue with the Grills. And we get to watch him die again, which is uncalled for, Marvel. And, see, the little happened so far little page is, Clint Barton, a.k.a. Hawkeye, became the greatest sharpshooter known to man. He then joined the Avengers. This is what he does when he's not an Avenger. Aren't you still sad about Grills? I know I am. And it's true. And I get to be re-sad. And it's good. It's just good. It's just good. And it's Francesco Francavilla doing guest art. And I love Francesco Francavilla. He did work on Batman, the Black Mirror. He did Batman. He did work on his own Black Beetle that I love and have praised so much. He's done work on a billion other things. He does a lot of covers for Dynamite. It's good. It's just good. Green Arrow number 20, Komodo. Oh God, it's so nice to be able to say what a great book Green Arrow is, because for like 18 issues we couldn't do that. But this is good. It's the best of both worlds. This is anything that you could possibly like if you're a fan of Arrow the show, and still if you're a fan of Green Arrow comics. This is like the merging of both, and somehow better than either. So if you like Arrow, but you don't necessarily you're not a big fan of say the CW handling, because they have a distinct feel for CW shows. Let's face it, and you don't think that your comics need that. This gets rid of that filter. but it's just really good, and they're able to save Naomi, so that's good, and the story's building, and I'm just liking it, and this Komodo has potential to be a really great pissed off ongoing villain. Harbinger Wars number 2. Guess what Valiant's not doing wrong? Anything. Alright. This is the fight you thought should have been a panel, maybe a panel and a half, of Harada versus Bloodshot, but Bloodshot's got Harada protocols. There are special powers that consume most of his energy, so he can't have them all the time. Nice little explanation for why don't you just make him das uber powerful all the time? No, these powers eat a lot of energy out of his nanites. But as soon as he sees or hears the name Harada, as soon as he realizes he's recognized that he's in the presence of Harada, the Harada protocols kick in, and boom, he just becomes even more ass-kickingist than he is on a regular basis. So good, read that. Savage Dragon number 187. It's Savage Dragon. What else do you need to know? You either already love it, or you probably don't. But it's not like it's something what's that? I've never heard of Savage Dragon. Eric Larson gets experimental on this one. He wanted to try something. He does. Every panel is a 6-page. Every page is a 6-panel grid, and this way, since no panel can be bigger, different shaped, you can't do any emphasis, with a splash or whatever. So it was all about storytelling. I will admit, not all of it, not all of that storytelling, worked as well as it could have. There were parts where I said, wait, did we just jump from what? It was a little unclear at points, as it kept changing perspective, but nonetheless, it's still good. Savage Dragon is always fun, and you get Zeke backup stories. Zeke versus his dad, and Zeke will smash. XFactor number 255, because XFactor is coming to an end, and it makes me sad. And this issue made me sad if what it looks like happened really happened, even though we knew it was going to happen. Because Lila Miller, who knows stuff, told us. Layla Miller, who knows stuff, told us it was going to happen. So that was sad, and it happened. But it's so good, and it's so gorgeous, and it's beat today. Thanos Rising number 2. Marvel Cosmic Serial Killer. It's like, not so much Dexter, more Hannibal in space. If Hannibal was big in, I don't know what the hell color is Thanos? Thanos is purple? I always thought it was blue. Finally, he's purple. I don't see purple. I don't know what to tell you, universe. It's not my thing. 60s Marvel lost on me. Can't see purple. But yeah, so a big purple Hannibal in space that ends with one of the most disturbing end images. It's just not. It's creepy. How's that? It's creepy. It's good, but it's creepy. Swamp Thing number 20. For like the first quarter of it, I was like, I don't know if this is my thing anymore. I don't know if Charles Soule is going to be my Swamp Thing writer. That one guy's really loud. I don't know if you can hear him internet. That one guy is loud. But then partway through, it just started kicking in, and it was awesome. Also, again, this doesn't happen in the main Superman books, but Charles Soule in here nailed it. He gets Superman. I don't understand why they keep putting people on the Superman book who just don't give us a solid. And there are people who should have. I mean, we had Perez on there, and we had Dan Jurgens on there. Those people, they get Superman. But for, I guess, a new redefined Superman, they kind of lost their way. So this, you get a Superman that seems, acts, feels, sounds like Superman. And that made me happy. Also, just a lot of what they did, it had that old Swamp Thing feel, the old Vertigo Swamp Thing, where it's not, despite the fact he's interacting with the main DCU, I mean, hell, he's in here with Superman and the Scarecrow, but it had that feel of bigger, otherly scope, and that was good. Detective Comics number 20. I've been loving Detective Comics. John Layman is awesome, and Jason Fabok does gorgeous artwork. And this sort of wraps up the Emperor Penguin story, although we'll leave the word Emperor open, but he's not Emperor Penguin anymore. Dun 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 dun! And this was just really, really good. This Ignatius Ogilvy character, who has the dark flip side of a Batman origin, is a really good, like, they all, that's what comics do. They add in, they reuse all the classic villains and characters that we know and love, but occasionally, they'll add new ones, and some of them you forget instantly. Some of them people try until someone makes it work, and some of them just boom. This is a brand new character foe worthy of the Batman Rogues Gallery, and it was just awesome. Hey yo, it's Age of Ultron, book 7, and it's okay. I'm still not liking this series yet. I'm hoping for it to wow me at some point. But Wolverine and Sue Storm return from having killed Hank Pym, only to find that the world is back. It hasn't been Ultroned, but it's still not the world they were expecting, and it's still a mess. And Colonel America, not Captain, is missing an eye, and the Thing has holes in him, and all sorts of stuff going down. But ultimately, the Kree Skrull War went differently, very differently, because there was no Hank Pym. So it was fought like all over Earth, and things are just a mess. So it's okay. I want it to wow me more. All new X-Men, I love it. I don't know what to tell you. I love this book. This one gets a bit talky, but it's Bendis, you expect that. And I just love this. I found myself getting mad at certain character actions, but in that way, like when you watch a show and you think you realize an actor's good because he played such a good bad guy that you just actually hated him and thought that if you ever saw the actor on the street, you would move away and be like, because you hated him that bad. So I'm supposed to disagree with some of the things, and it really worked. And I don't think I've cared this much about the X-Men in a while. I mean, okay, Wolverine and the X-Men, I care about all those kids I don't know who are, but this, I actually cared about real X-Men again. So that was impressive. Action Comics number 20 is alright. But like I said, they're doing this big story, and I see what they're going in. It's a Superman-worthy story, but unfortunately for the New 52, I don't feel anyone has defined Superman yet. And you can't do a big, huge, cinescape Superman story until you've defined Superman on a smaller level. And the New 52 really hasn't done that yet. Some people have in smaller other comics and other stories, but for the main idea, we haven't gotten a definitive, this is Superman, this is what makes Superman. We've gotten a lot of definitive, I'm telling you, this is Superman, but they haven't made it feel like this is Superman. And Scott Lobdell is writing backup stories, which makes me sad, partially because I really liked the Charlie Fish. I don't know who was Fish, I think, and Sprouse were doing the old backup stories, and I really liked them, and also partly because it's Scott Lobdell again, and I don't know. Sometimes some of this New 52 has shaken things up and changed things and dusted off old concepts and made them a little more fresh. Some of this New 52 has added new things, not a lot, and some of it has just tweaked things. But some of it seems a lot like they're just trying to, well, let's put our difference, and it's different for the sake of different, and it's not adding, it's just changing and not necessarily for the better. And this backup story, I think, falls into that. I didn't feel it. I didn't care. And the parts I did care about, I cared. And why'd you do that? Wait. Indestructible Hulk number 7. I'm gonna say it. So good. All right, Wade can write the hell out of anything. This continues to be great. You've got some great Hulk moments. You've got some better Banner moments. You get a little background into some of his team members. One in particular, who's trying to is committed to SBH, Suicide by Hulk. Yeah, that sounds like it should be more of a thing in the Marvel Universe. You'd think that'd just be, I want to die. I'm going to go punch Banner in the face and see if that can't get me killed. Also, we find out their machine did take them back in time. I was wondering what was up with, Walter Simonson drawing Thor that looks like the Thor Walter Simonson draws is awesome. But I was wondering, I was worried for a bit, is this going to be Clore, the clone Thor? Is that why Hulk was able to pick up the hammer? But the hammer pickup explanation is in this issue. He didn't really pick it up so much as the hammer dragged him along while it was turning back to Thor. That made sense. And they've gone back in time, so this Thor is slightly younger, a little more brash, doesn't know Hulk from a hole in the wall, and it's just really, really good. Speaking of really, really good, Earth 2, number 12, War with Wotan. All right, we get a little bit in China with Green Arrow and Hawk Girl. They're investigating the death of whoever put out the hit that almost killed Alan Scott and did kill his boyfriend. And then partway through, all of a sudden, he starts glowing and he's like, I gotta go, and you're gonna have to keep working without me. And Hawk Girl's like, you can't just leave me in China to work with that. And he goes, I know, you don't understand, I can't help it, it's not my choice. The ring really just compels me to go, to where I need to be when stuff's going down. So he ends up hooking up with Flash and Dr. Fate, while they're fighting Wotan. And then when it's all said and done, they think they're gonna be able to do the China thing, but something else comes along that's gonna take up their attention. Also, it teases next issue: War, Fire, Captain Steel, and Batman, because we know that Earth 2 is getting a new Batman that has been teased on by Robinson himself on MTV Geek. He told them that it's not a new character. This is someone from Batman lore, and this is going to have ramifications for this and the DC. So I'm dying to see where they go with this. World's Finest, Huntress and Power Girl, number 12, Power Play. It's good. They have now found out that they're dealing with Desaad. Desaad plays them he lets them see him as Desaad, but nobody else. So the rest of the world just sees the two of them start beating the crap out of
Mr. Turk.
Michael Holt. Is it Michael Holt? Yeah, Michael Holt, Mr. Terrific. So they just see them beating the crap out of businessman, and they're like, what? The world's like, what? You get, the art changes throughout the book. It starts out with Kevin Maguire, so I'm happy, yay, Kevin Maguire. But this story is it's just good. These two, Earth 2 and World's Finest, have just been two of the best books consistently in the New 52. And they weren't even part of the first wave. We had to wait for this greatness. Is it the issue that Dan Slott said was going to piss people off? And it may have. It's the Superior Spider-Man, Spider-Man No More, the Superior Spider-Man number 9. You have on the mental scape fight of Doc Ock versus Peter Parker for the right to have the body, because the Parker memories have been manifesting. So Doc Ock decides he's just going to wipe all that is Peter Parker, and all the memories, all the everything out of there. So he starts wiping it, and it goes, in the end, we get Spider-Man wakes up, he says he's gone, and I am free, and he smiles. They don't tell us which one won yet. Is it, did Peter get it back? Did Doc Ock win? I don't know. Looks more like a Doc Ock win than a Peter Parker win, but we'll have to wait and see, and then from there see where it goes. As I said, I've liked this storyline. I don't want it to be permanent. It's been a great story, and I'm sure it'll make a great, couple trade collection, but I don't want all of this to be permanent. And last up is random Sean appearance, because we need some Sean. We need some Sean. I need my Sean love. Fold out, Aquaman number 19. He's a little late going, oh, everybody else is up to 20. I'm only up to 19. It's the seas. It's harder to move through water, so it slows things down. This is brutal. You've got the Ice King fighting his way through to Atlantis. Apparently, we find out that there's a deeper history to Mira's background than we had previously suspected. Aquaman talks to big, scary-looking Topo, who basically blows him off and says, "Yeah, don't care." And we've got the building towards the trial of Orm, aka Ocean Master, and still some of the main not citizens, we'll say these soldiers of Atlantis. Whose side are they on? Are they still pro Orm, or are they going to help Aquaman? Looks like they're pro Orm. Just saying. And you've got one Atlantean who was born with a horrible mutation that he can't breathe water. So he wears a special funky suit. But I was really, 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 really happy because the tease at the end of this one is next, the return of the others. And you know I love the others. So I'm a happy man. Boom. So that's that. Also, the World's Finest trade came out this week. I don't have one to hold up, but it's World's Finest. I just told you I love that. Get it. Lots of Kevin McGuire. Buy that. And I will see you next week, Internet. Maybe with Sean. Maybe not. I don't know.